Have you ever felt a connection so intense that you started calling it destiny, even while your peace was quietly disappearing? Have you ever asked yourself why your heart says stay while your body says this is costing me too much? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to talk about a question that shows up again and again for people who are trying to make sense of intense relationships. Karmic or twin flame. And I know, the internet loves dramatic labels. But I want to bring you a calmer, wiser way to see it. Because the label is not the point. The point is whether the relationship is turning you into a more awake, more compassionate, more honest human being. Or whether it is turning you into someone who is constantly braced, constantly chasing, constantly doubting yourself, constantly trading dignity for a moment of relief. Two truths will guide everything we talk about today. First, a powerful spiritual connection does not automatically mean you should stay no matter what. Awakening never requires you to accept ongoing disrespect, manipulation, or instability. Second, the clearest difference between a karmic loop and a transformative mirror connection is not how intense it feels in the beginning. It is what changes over time. Does the relationship evolve through accountability and practice, or does it repeat through excuses and pain? Now let me tell you a story. Because stories help you feel the difference in your bones. In this story there is someone named Talia. Talia is smart, sensitive, and honest. She is not trying to play games. She wants real love. She wants growth. She wants something that feels meaningful. She meets someone named Mason. And from the first conversation, it feels like electricity. They talk for hours. They finish each other's sentences. They share childhood wounds. They share spiritual interests. They share dreams. Talia feels seen in a way she has rarely felt. She starts thinking, this has to be bigger than ordinary dating. This feels like a soul connection. Mason says the same. He says he has never met anyone like her. He says he feels like they were meant to find each other. He says he can see their future. The beginning is intense, fast, then full of promises. And then a shift happens. Not a dramatic shift, a subtle one. Mason starts being inconsistent. Some days he is warm and present. Other days he disappears emotionally. He cancels plans. He returns with sweet messages. He acts like nothing happened. Talia starts feeling anxious. She starts checking her phone. She starts reading meaning into timing. She starts editing her own feelings to sound easier. She starts bargaining with herself. Maybe I should be more patient. Maybe he is afraid. Maybe this is the runner-chaser thing people talk about. Maybe this is twin flame energy. This is where many people get stuck. Because intensity can feel like destiny. And inconsistency can feel like a spiritual test. Especially when you already have an old wound around abandonment or worth. So Talia does what many people do. She searches online for signs. She watches short videos. She reads posts. She tries to match her experience to a category. And the category starts becoming a mask over reality. Instead of asking, is this healthy? She asks, is this twin flame? Instead of asking, am I respected? She asks, is this separation phase? And slowly, she loses the most important thing, clarity. Now, I am going to give you 3 signs, but not as a checklist to label your partner like a product. I want you to use these signs as mirrors to see what is happening in your nervous system and in your life. Because the real spiritual move is not guessing the label. The real spiritual move is ending the cycle that harms you and choosing the path that grows you. Here is the first sign. If the relationship keeps repeating the same pain without real change, you are most likely in a karmic loop, not a transformative mirror path. Let me explain what that looks like in real life. In a karmic loop, you keep having the same conversation. You keep asking for the same thing. You keep hearing the same promises. You keep seeing the same behavior. The person might apologize, but the apology does not turn into consistent action. You might have a beautiful reunion moment, but the reunion does not create new stability. It just resets the cycle. In a karmic loop, the relationship feels like this: hope, then disappointment, closeness, then confusion, apology, then repetition, relief, then anxiety again. And over time, you become more tired, more suspicious, more reactive, and less like yourself in a truly transformative connection. If it is real and mutual, the pain does not simply repeat forever. The pain becomes information that leads to growth. Both people take responsibility. Both people practice. Both people become more honest. The relationship evolves, even if it is slow. Evolution is the key. A karmic loop says, I will change someday. Trust me. A transformative path says, here is what I am doing differently starting now. And you will see it consistently. Now let us go back to Talia. She asks Mason for consistency. She says she needs clear communication and follow through. Mason says he understands. He says he will do better. He is sweet for a few days. Then he disappears again. Then he returns with a romantic message. Then he blames stress. Then he says Talia is overthinking. Then he says she should be more trusting. Talia realizes something painful. The words are not the problem. The pattern is. And the pattern is not changing. That is the first sign. If the pattern is not changing, do not let a spiritual label convince you to stay in the same suffering. Now here is the second sign. If you feel like you are constantly losing your center, constantly chasing, constantly doubting yourself, and your body feels braced more than safe, you are most likely in a karmic dynamic. This one is huge, because your body often tells the truth long before your mind admits it. Ask yourself how you feel most of the time. Do you feel calm and grounded? Or do you feel on edge? Do you sleep well? Or do you replay conversations at night? Do you feel safe to speak truth? Or do you edit yourself? Do you feel respected? Or do you feel tolerated? Do you feel like yourself? Or do you feel like a version of yourself designed to keep them close? When you are in a karmic dynamic, you often become a detective. You analyze messages. You track down. You scan for clues. You try to interpret silence. You try to predict moods. You are not present in your own life because your nervous system is focused on regulation through the relationship. This is not love. This is attachment. This is nervous system addiction to relief. Relief becomes the drug. When they finally reply, you exhale. When they finally show warmth, you feel high. When they pull away, you crash. That up and down becomes your emotional climate. And it is exhausting. Now let me be careful. Some people will say, but twin flames are intense and triggering too. Yes, triggers can happen in any relationship. The difference is what the trigger produces. A healthy trigger produces awareness and growth. An unhealthy trigger produces obsession and self-abandonment. A healthy trigger says, I need to heal this wound, and I will do the work. An unhealthy trigger says, I need them to behave a certain way so I can feel okay. That is the difference. Back to Talia. She starts noticing she cannot focus at work. She starts noticing she is less patient with friends. She starts noticing her body is tense. She starts noticing she is not eating well. She starts noticing she is living inside anticipation. She realizes something that becomes her awakening sentence. I am not living my life. I am living inside his moods. That is not destiny. That is bondage. And spiritual growth is not bondage. Spiritual growth is freedom with compassion. Now here is the third sign. If one person is doing all the emotional labor and the other person is using spiritual language, excuses, or blame to avoid accountability, you are most likely in a karmic lesson, not a mutual awakening path. This is the part many people do not want to see, because they want the connection to be sacred. They want the story to be special. They want to believe the suffering will be rewarded. But the deepest spiritual truth is this. A sacred connection requires mutual responsibility. If only one person is growing, it becomes a teacher-student dynamic, not a partnership. If only one person is apologizing, reflecting, changing, and practicing, it becomes draining. If only one person is holding the relationship, it becomes a burden. Now, what does avoidance look like? It can look like blame. You are too sensitive. You are overthinking. You are creating drama. You are not spiritual enough. You should just trust. It can look like vague promises. I will do better soon. I am working on myself. It will change when my life calms down. This is just a phase. It can look like spiritual bypassing. This is a twin flame separation. This is the universe testing us. This is a divine timing thing. We are meant to be. So it does not matter what I do. And it can look like emotional manipulation. Warm when you are leaving. Cold when you ask for respect. That is not growth. That is control. Now, let us go back to Talia one more time. She finally says, I am not willing to live in uncertainty. I care about you, but I need consistency and respect. If you want this relationship, I need to see stable behavior over time. Not only words. Mason reacts with irritation. He says she is pressuring him. He says she is ruining the magic. He says she is controlling. He says she should let things flow. Flow is not the same as avoidance. Flow is not the same as inconsistency. Flow does not require you to tolerate disrespect. Talia realizes he wants access without responsibility. And that realization is the end of the illusion. Now here is the part where people usually ask, so what do I do? And I want to answer that in a way that is both compassionate and practical. If you are stuck in a painful karmic dynamic, the first move is not to fight harder. The first move is to return to yourself. Return means three things. It means you stop chasing. It means you stop negotiating your dignity. It means you stop turning the other person into your source of worth. That does not mean you become cold. It means you become steady. Then you set a clear boundary, not a threat, a truth. I need consistency. I need respect. I need accountability. If that cannot happen, I will step back. Then you watch behavior, not promises. If behavior changes consistently over time, you have something to work with. If behavior does not change, you keep repeating the same pain. The lesson is likely leaving. Now, leaving does not have to be hateful. Leaving can be the most spiritual act you do, because it protects your compassion from turning into resentment. Here is a line I want you to remember if you feel guilty about stepping away. You can love someone and still not be available to their pattern. That is wisdom. Now, let us talk about why this question is so emotionally charged. People want the connection to be twin flame because twin flame sounds like meaning. But meaning does not require you to suffer endlessly. Meaning can be this. This relationship revealed my wound. This relationship taught me boundaries. This relationship taught me self-respect. This relationship taught me how to stop chasing. This relationship taught me how to be compassionate without collapse. That is meaning. And that meaning can happen without staying forever. Now, I want to add one more layer that will help you become even clearer. A karmic relationship often feels like you are trying to earn love. You try to be easy. You try to be perfect. You try to be patient. You try to be spiritual. You try to prove you are worthy. A healthier connection feels like love is not earned. It is shared. You do not need to audition. You do not need to beg. You do not need to chase. You do not need to decode. You can simply be. And when you can simply be, your nervous system relaxes. Relaxation is not boring. Relaxation is safe love. Now let me close the story of Talia. After she steps back, she feels withdrawal. She misses Mason. She misses the intensity. She misses the fantasy. This is normal. The nervous system misses the highs, so she treats it like healing. She does not run back for relief. She sleeps more. She talks to trusted friend. She writes down the pattern in plain language. She reminds herself that one sweet message is not transformation. She learns to sit with discomfort without chasing. Over time, the fog clears, and then something beautiful happens. She starts feeling like herself again. She laughs more. She breathes more. She stops checking her phone. She starts living her life. And that is when she understands who wins. Not Mason. Not her ego. Not the label. Freedom wins. Wisdom wins. Compassion with boundaries wins. That is the end of the karmic cycle. Now I want to speak directly to you before we end. If you are trying to identify karmic versus twin flame, ask yourself these 3 questions in your own mind right now. Is the pattern changing for real accountability over time? Or repeating through excuses? Do I feel more grounded in myself? Or more anxious and braced? Are we both doing the work? Or am I carrying the whole relationship? If you answer honestly, you will know what you need to do. Thank you for spending this time with me today. I want to hear your story. Have you ever confused intensity with destiny? Have you ever stayed in a loop because you thought it was spiritual? What helped you finally choose yourself without closing your heart? Share what you feel comfortable sharing in the comments. And if you want more conversations about awakening, wisdom, karma, compassion, practice, destiny, and conscious relationships, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and stay connected by commenting so this community can grow together. I will see you in the next one.